Here we go.
Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Alive Again. Abby, it's been so long since we've been on.
That's been a little while, yeah. We're
Abby,
busy.
are
We're
you
busy.
there?
Yeah?
Yeah,
Can't you
it's
hear
been
me?
ages. We've been so busy. I can hear you. We've been so busy and so busy we've needed to expand what we're doing and to bring in some persona mentors. Oh, has someone got this on at the same time? Because you'll need to turn it off. Anyone listening at the same time because it's delayed? Hi, Josie. Thank you for being there, my darling, so that we can be sure that everyone's here. Excellent. We've got some people here with us. So we are very excited today. And Jessie have been running the 2020 Vision, and we have learned so much, and they have been so extraordinary in their results, not only in finding out who am I and what am I really here for, but in a sense of community in each of the groups. And we've had a waiting list for some time, and I'm very fortunate to be able to introduce for you today Leanne. Hi.
Hi.
You could say Leanne, hi. And Nat Elson, who is here, and they are going to be running our next two groups for our 2020 Vision course. Now, I've known Leanne and Nat for, I don't know, so many years. And as many of you know, I began this work as an archetype work and going into 13 archetypes, and there are 113 archetypes, and going through in great complexity before the personas. That was the forerunner. And Leanne and Nat both trained in that and knew that work out. And they've adjusted very quickly to doing the personas, and we just have slots available. Hi, Dave. Hi, Fiona. Lovely to have you. Thanks for supporting us here, guys. So, Abby, we're excited, aren't we, about having some new people coming on board, and this is the first of our persona mentors. This will not be the last, but they're our number one first team. What do you reckon, Abby?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. We are getting in the zone where the persona work is growing, and we're just so happy to have Leanne and Nat that actually have built knowledge on it, and now are like in a zone where they can actually teach people how does that work. So I think we come from far, and the result is pretty good. As the group, the 2020 Vision group, been going really well, and we're just like it's just one of the big steps going forward now.
Yeah, it's super exciting.
Thank you. It's a very big step. So, yeah, Nat, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, and then Leanne. But Nat, if you want to start off, and you've of course have been doing the groups with me and learning about it, and the courses that will be coming up for people, they're going to be following the same course that Jessie, Abby, and I have been teaching, and where you learn your maps and go forward. And I'm writing new courses all the time that our groups are following through. It's such huge growth, Josie, and I must say, we are developing a team of persona mentors that will be able to, that are doing one-on-one sessions with people as well. So we are not offering therapy. We are not a counselling service. We are a self-therapy group. We are teaching people through the persona language how to master self-parenting and how to become the very best version of yourselves with someone who's very skilled and has great expertise in the persona language. And it's an amazing tool and a fast tool for the deepest transformation I've ever seen, and I've been doing this work for 30 years. So, Nat, over to you. How have you found doing the group work, and would you like to tell people a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I have been, obviously, I've known Katie for about, 13 or 14 years, I think. So, like she said, we've gone through all the archetypal work, but I must admit that starting doing term 1, 4 months ago now, yeah, that's when we started it all. It's just been absolutely transformational, and it's next level. So it just follows on from everything that I've learned like through my life, and it's just been unbelievable being a part of the term 1 group 7 work. Has been, again, just transformational for me, and just where this work can actually take us all is unbelievable. So I'm really excited to be asked to come on and do this with you both. It's beautiful, and it's just amazing to watch the whole persona grata, just extending and expanding. It's just beautiful. And alongside Leanne, I can't think of a better person to do this with. So it's going to be amazing to meet everyone that's coming in. So it'll be beautiful.
Oh, it's wonderful. Could you tell them your map? Because that'll be very interesting for people to know your map, and then we'll get Leanne to tell your map.
Sure. So my map, I'm Raven first, and then Swan, Nightingale. My parrot comes through then, and then my sparrow and my owl is backing it all up. So I am all birds. So it's just through Katie for a little fixer, but it was amazing. It was life changing for me to work it all out. So it's just been beautiful.
Thank you. In fact, you're both all birds, and 6 term 1 groups. The first lot we've got a week, and you two both came in and said, "No, but I'm all birds," and I said, "No, I didn't write that in the model. You can't be. For fuck's sake, you've got to have an animal." And we checked it really carefully, and we found that nearly 10% of people have no animal. It's really interesting because, you know, I talk about we have moved from the beaver age to the bird age, and profound. And there's different challenges for having all birds, and there's different gifts for having all birds, of course. But Leanne, tell them your map and let's hear about you, darling.
So my map is no birds. Oh, no birds. That would be great. No animals. I'm owl, sparrow, swan, nightingale, parrot, and raven. And ever since I've met Katie, it was the startings of getting to really know myself, and I knew that I would be working with her forever because it's such powerful work being able to truly see yourself, and it's such a gift. Like the insight and the wisdom that we're getting in our term groups are just, it's unreal, and it's being all self-help is it's amazing. Like not having to being your own compass and your own anchor, and actually fully getting to self-acceptance. I think that's such a gift that everyone deserves. And I'm just like, as soon as you get into this work, you just cannot stop talking about it. And it's a language that crosses so many boundaries. I think it's the way to healing on so many levels. So I'm so grateful, and I'm so excited to meet our next 10 ones and to take them and help, like, just watch them grow through this journey.
Yes.
And to do it alongside my best friend is amazing. And alongside all of these amazing, like Katie and Abby and Jessie and Mish and Elena and Sarah, very humbling.
Oh, it's so great to have you. And as you say, Elena's just talking on here, we're talking about self-mastery comes from self-parenting and learning how to manage all the light and shadow work. We're doing shadow work, but we're not. When you come along to your life story, are we? Abby didn't want to be a therapist, did you, Abby, may I say?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Okay, you jump in for me.
I'm jumping in. I
okay,
didn't hear what you
I was
said.
just saying that. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, a little bit of delay today. Bloody annoying, but that's the day we're having. What I was saying was, when we don't have in our groups time for personal sharing about what's going on in our lives in detail. We don't hear family histories, and yet people are making the changes themselves in the week in between times. You hear a little bit, but very little personal detail. And Abby, you don't have a background as a therapist. Leanne's a chiropractor, and Nat is a Bowen therapist, and they're both brilliant in their work. I've experienced both of them, and they've had clients for many, 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 many years. So it's easy for them to add the persona language in and work on this level. But Abby, that's not your background. But because we're not doing the therapy thing, it still works, doesn't it, darling? But it still works for you in what you're doing, doesn't it?
Of course, like legitimately, Natalie and Leanne are way more, way more validate to be able to do this work than me. So I'm just I'm just saying that from a now lecture, like I study accounting. What are we talking about? But I just have came from building a lot of interest and how like the persona have built a really, well, from an accounting thing, really good mathematic tools of personality, like the way you can just see how the dynamic between the whole 6 persona in a map, how they all come together. Like this tool is so interesting for me that it's just coming from my interest and that I'm able to do this work.
Can you tell people your map, Abby, just so we get across everyone? We've lost
reminder,
Nat. I'm sure she'll come back in.
Yeah, she will. Hopefully, she will come back.
Yeah, just remind people of your map.
So my map is swan, dog, parrot, lion, raven, nightingale. So I actually have two animals in my map. Bon, bah c'est comme ça. But that means I have less genius of birds. Like I miss something.
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Joe Josie said a good comment. It's way easier to bullshit to your therapist than yourself. If you really want growth and change, then this is the way. What happens when you come along?
That's also the thing.
Yeah, Abby, go on. You say.
That's also the thing with the whole mastering self-parenting. What is about parenting yourself? Like this work is, like you said, is not a therapy work. It's not here to help those that need the most help. Like, oh, how can I say? That don't have that don't have the possibility to see themselves honestly. From what we realize, it's a tool that is more about it's self-developing on a level where you need to do it yourself. Like the responsibility is on you. What we're teaching is just how to use the tool, how to be able to understand yourself. But we don't do this in a way that we will show you who you are. We're just gonna be like, this is the tools you can use to see who you are. So that's I think
and how far you go is actually down to each person.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's exactly right.
In the groups, like after last night, in a group setting, the rising with each other is just magic. Like seeing other people rise in alignment with themselves is like no other. It's really truly amazing.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, and it motivates you to work on your shadow and to recognize when you're going into the shadow or the child of any persona you've got. When you're hearing others getting somewhere, you sort of feel inspired to keep going. And people turn up and they've had a bad week, and they shift out of that energy in the course of the 2-hour session every single time, and all light bulbs going off. I should just maybe mention the philosophy that we all have in Persona Grata, which is that the map, your persona map, which is 6 personas, are unique, and there's a missing animal in the middle, which is about adding heart intelligence into the map, which turns the light on to all of you. But our philosophy is that this is a mirror of your soul, and that your map, living in alignment with your persona map and with your soul, is how you find meaning and how you find what you are here for, and the way you came to love in this world, the way you came to serve in this world, the gifts that you have that you came to contribute. And our belief is, you don't have to believe this, but this is like an underlying philosophy, that we all chose to come for these times, and they're very, very challenging times. And we're having to ask ourselves the question in these times, and in lockdown and in pandemic and in climate change and crisis and the economic destruction that's happening on all these levels. We're all being asked, who am I? What really matters? And what am I here for? And the answers lie within. When you're in lockdown, you have to go inwards because you can't go outside. You can't go outwards. You've got to go inwards. And the answers all lie in our persona maps and in our personas, and they come together uniquely like a beautiful alchemical recipe. And they've got a dream inside. We've all got a dream inside of us of some description of what we'd love to do and how we'd love to be. And the language is the shortcut for you to find out and to validate what you've thought secretly. Gee, I'd love to do this or be this. And your maps validate, yeah, that's exactly what you're here to do, and this is the steps you'll need to do to get there. Have you found that? Can you guys add to that? But I feel like that's That's why this language has been born for the 2020s, because it's going to help people find out their meaning and what they came to do here.
Absolutely. It's been a metamorphosis. Like you really take on board who you truly are. And you can't hide from that. When you do the persona language, you can't hide from it. And like what Abby was saying, it's such a universal language. So you can use it on every angle and look at every angle of your life and bring it in. And so it really makes you acknowledge who you are and really understand who you are.
Yes.
And there's no hiding from it. If you want to go light, you go light. If you want to stay in that darkness, it's going to stay there. So, and that's what the persona language has really, really done. And it's just that exposing, like you said, worldwide.
Definitely.
It is. And as you were sort of anticipating before, Leanne, it was, that personas apply to everything in life. There's just no topic that they're not relevant to. Leanne.
I was like seeing and accessing like your own true gifts. Like there's things that you know under the surface that you really want to do, but then you actually see them in your map. Translate to just your purpose just comes to you so much easier, and you feel so much more fulfilled. Those times when you're kind of just doing things for the sake of doing things and fitting into the world. I feel like 2020 is asking us to be birthed again new, and then to have it translate as a parent to our children, to actually truly see them and allow their gifts to shine. And just the people that you're in contact with, like your friends, like when you truly feel seen, which is how I feel in these groups, magic happens. And I just think there's such a true bond and connection and community that can overcome so many things with this language.
And it's so needed right now.
I totally agree. Well, we're in isolation, aren't we? And lots of people. So community is everything. So part of what Persona Grata is passionate about is that we create these communities worldwide. And we have people from all over the world who are already in our groups. And we only want to expand that and have more and more available. And we love that sense of community, but it's a place where you come to find yourself. There are no bad personas. There are no bad combinations of personas. And we've all got a pathless path. This is a Joseph Campbell expression. We have a pathless path to find as we go into the forest. We go into dark times. We're in collective dark times. But on our pathless path, you have to go your own unique way. And the way you go is round your map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It actually works like that. And when you understand that, you'd never find what this path was or where you're getting stuck without this language, because it's just confusing. I don't know what my light is. I don't know what my shadow is. I don't know what's sabotaging me. With this language, 5-year-olds can understand and can start to work with from that age right through to as deep as you want to go. You can actually see very clearly. And once you can see and understand it, you've got the power to make a different choice. And if you can't see it, you can't change it. That has been my experience, I must say. Abby, what would you say?
Yeah. Didn't hear the end of what you said, but anyway.
We've got all these funny delays.
Yeah.
We've got all these.
But if I can add.
We've got these delays today, which is making it harder.
I think we also, with the group, we have started really forming a discussion on how the persona work. And I think after those two months, those 2 terms, we're nearly at the end of term 2 with the first groups that I've been involved in. And we keep on learning things, because we're not just in the theory anymore. I think we have applied, and we have saw how people have used it, what it became, and we still learn things, because, like I said, the mathematics, the way it works it's kind of infinite. Like the persona are what they are, and the way you can combine them will define something. But no one have the same lesson, and no one have the same way of way of interpretation. And it's funny how even some people, well, even some people that have so much in common on persona will have a different
Yeah.
version of their persona depending on what they went through in life. And the fact that
And
that
their life
we
experiences. Yeah.
exactly and people and when you have the persona or not, we can actually feel the life lesson you have and why you have it when we explain it from a persona point of view. You know, saying like, "Oh, you swan," so these have been specifically more affecting you because you were a swan, and the way that affect the way you went so to that in your life by being so defensive and so spicy, like I would say for a swan, like so just like on your back. We can acknowledge that from that point of view by naming that it is your swan that is interpreting it. Like you're not doing stuff just for the sake of being an asshole. It's because there is actually something that have hurt you, and for you,
Yeah.
when you voila, it's so complex that I could keep on going. But the
It,
interpretation of the same thing through perhaps another person, a nightingale, will be so different, and the treatment is just not the same at all. Anyway, my example is just a bit simple, but
no, it's great. It's
Yeah.
great. So when people will come in with an issue, say, like I had this at work or I had this here, when they come in, you can say, well, that was your swan there. That, do you see how your swan did the child swan there? Oh, yeah. And the antidote to that is this, and the bridge is here. It's like learning, it's a very fast track way of learning how to maximize what you've got. But interestingly enough, the only way, Cindy's just saying, haha, spicy from one swan to another. I love that as well, Cindy. That's what I was smiling at when Abby says, when you're being an arsehole and you're being a bit spicy. That is such a good expression for a swan. Spicy. We say prickly, but it's
yeah,
perfect.
prickly.
Yeah, his metaphors are gold, Elena. They're absolute gold. They're so good. So we bring everything back. We bring it all back always to that's your raven, Katie, seeing it that way. You know, there's another perspective because you have the lens, your personal lens of how you see and interpret things. And in child, we get stuck at the same places. It just liberates you. And we are learning every week. I just got on earlier before we started this call to say, oh my God, what we learnt last night. I have to tell you this, Abby, and it's going to take, 6 hours of conversation to work out what we're going to do with it. But we're learning all the time. So we should perhaps say that we've got 2 time slots available for people who'd like to come and find out who they really are in a very safe and loving and supportive and celebratory place. You are always celebrated at Persona Grata for exactly who you are. We'll say, yeah, well, that's really fucked, isn't it? That was your child, this. And we all have a little laugh, but we say it to everyone because I'm fucked and you're fucked.
That would be your
principle of the
style.
word.
That
Am
would
I
be your
right,
style.
people? This is not an output. That would be my
No,
Raven style. Yeah, Abby would never say that. Abby's the kind person. He always comes and says, go gently and don't be too harsh on yourself. And it never crosses my mind to say that. But never mind, I'll get there. I'm learning dog from Abby at work.
But that's the question.
But it's true. We can all have a laugh. Can we not, my darling?
Yeah.
Can we not
Absolutely.
all have a laugh at our shadow at times and not judge ourselves for it, but understand where it comes from?
Understand and learn how to change that too, and acknowledge it more than anything. Don't block it. I think that's been the biggest learning
Just
is how we deal with our triggers, how we move on from them, and how it really helps us grow in ourselves and be truly authentic.
And
that's the goal, isn't it? To be our truly authentic.
I feel like it's true surrender as well, rather than fighting it. Like true surrender to who you are, to self-acceptance, and also to what has happened, and to realize whatever has existed has been for a reason is very healing, like on so many levels.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're running, Leanne and Nat will be starting 2 new groups. Abby, did you want to start to name something?
No, I just wanted to say in the approach of like explaining also like having Nat and Nat and Leanne being that friends will
Leanne.
really make the dynamic of the groups. Like we're gonna have like this. We're trying to bring these things where people can be complementary, and we don't want to two-person that don't know each other and know how they work together. I think that's like the dynamic they can bring can be actually really good. It's not gonna be the same as me and Katie, as I suppose we're more challenging of each other sometimes. but but I'm sure
Indeed.
I would like to know what you think of that, Nat and Leanne, if you can explain like how do you work together a bit.
Sure. Well, obviously, Leanne and my maps are very similar, but backwards. So the balance between us is
Oh,
it's quite dynamic, actually. So I find that where I'm not seeing holes in my map, Leanne can just instantly see it. So to be able to acknowledge others like that is going to be really dynamic, I feel, and I'm really excited to work with Lee with this because she knows me inside out. We've known each other for, I don't even know, it feels like forever. And especially after finding out our maps actually were very similar, it was just such a different connection as well. And I truly am so grateful for that. I really am. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. It's going to be transforming. I feel like, yeah, I want to go into these groups with a lot of heart and a lot of openness. And I feel like it's going to just take us to another level with everyone. So it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, I feel like in some ways we may be what's the word, separated at birth. I feel like we're in each other's heads, so I feel like we make a great team in that respect. And I also truly believe that there's no mistakes how the groups happen. And so I've no doubt that whoever's in each group,
I agree. Yes.
and in that mix in itself, there's no mistakes. Like I learn from all the other people in our group 6 so much, and it's such a reflection on me. So I'm really excited to see how that evolves. Really, I know that it won't be the same as Abby and Katie and Jesse's group, but
Yes.
I think it's just we're not all the same, and we're not all here to bring the same. So yeah, it'll be a very
No.
exciting journey.
Oh, fantastic. It's exactly as it's meant to be. It's going to be exactly as it's meant to be. And I think you guys will offer something really lovely. The people who end up working with are meant to work with you. That's how we see it. That's how we see it. So we have 2 time slots that we should let people know. And they're going to be booked out probably by the end of today. It'll be booked out. So Tuesday, the 7:30 Perth time, WA time, the Tuesday night course, we have 3 places left. That's all. And we have another time slot with Leanne and Nat, which is Fridays 10:30 WA time. That's 12:30 noon for Eastern Standard Time. There are 7 places left on that group. So it's very exciting, and yeah, there'll be other courses that we are doing that people can jump on and do some stuff with Abby and I next year in the year-long course that we're doing. There's going to be variety there, and we're also, Abby, Jessie and I are in the process of recording what every persona and every map section is for a website, so people can do online courses and see us talking about everything there, so they can get both. They get you guys and they can get us, but that won't be ready for some time. But that's the aim, isn't it, Abby?
Yeah, yeah. We are trying to evolve the platform. It's just to be able to make groups for those. We want to keep this dynamic of group where we can try to give as much attention as we can by person. So it's like we want to have a place also for those that can't afford to be there on time, or just that there is not enough place. So there would be like an automatic online way of doing it. It's just gonna be
Yeah.
the way of providing information is different. We're still like building it, but we will try to keep it as complete as it can, and also still like give to those people that decide to go on this course the source of direct information from us via Facebook page. But
Yeah.
voilà.
So sorry.
No, I said voilà.
We want to give as much information as we can. Jessie and I are starting. It's good. The delay is driving me insane, Abby, because there's a few seconds between and it's just making it look very awkward today, but nothing can be done. It must be the internet.
I think someone in your building is downloading a lot right now. But anyway.
Yeah.
Downloaders.
Very rude.
Yeah. So rude.
Very rude of them. Can I just give a little outline? Can I give a little outline of the 3 terms of what people are going to be doing with you, Leanne and Nat? If I just give people a little bit of an outline. What's going to happen in the first term, you literally spend 1 week to do one persona in one map section. So don't feel like you need to know your maps before you come to the groups, though we would love you to have heard the personas on the podcast that Jessie and I have recorded and to have gone through the books so that you've got an understanding, a working knowledge of the personas. And that's the User Guide to Humans, 2 books, and the podcast series, which we've got out on special really cheaply. But you're going to use them like references, resources all the time for this work. And once you start, generally people want to go on. So the first term is discovering your map 1 week at a time. And what happens is you literally...
I think Katie have cut. She's
All
gone
right,
for good.
The internet is shocking.
Yeah. She's just gonna need to come back. Sorry for that, guys. She was in the middle of a sentence talking about what was gonna happen, but I saw that there were things happening, so I didn't really catch what she was saying.
I didn't even hear what she was saying.
Well because the delay is terrible, so it's like, quick, say something.
I hope that not too much wrong is going with hers, with her connection. Obviously, it is. Really
Thanks for being tech, Abby. I have no idea.
Alors, I suppose she's needing my help.
She hosts. Okay.
Yeah, but I think after this live, we will put all the details on the Facebook page so you can see in which time and when the groups are going to be available.
I think people need to know where to get the podcasts and books from as well. Just tag the website so people know, because the amount of people that ask me all the time.
Yeah, for the link. And
highly links all the time.
Yeah, literally. Kathy is saying that it's okay if you don't really have your map, but it's better if you have the information about approximately what you have. We have someone in the new groups that came without buying any books, just out of I'm so excited to try something new. So she arrived, she had no idea who she was, not even a little bit of persona. And that's not the best thing you can do if you want to take those groups. At least have a little bit of knowledge. Just advised. Just do the quiz.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
it does definitely help.
If you could at least get a minimum of what are your strongest persona and understanding, I think a bit of what is the missing animal concept, you should be able to do those courses correctly.
And not only that, it means that you're open-minded to everything as well. So, you come in with an open mind, but you also kind of have a little bit of an understanding where it can go straight away, especially for the first 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And if you've got a block to doing that, then that's probably in your personas as well. If you're not someone to read the books or do the quiz, or if you do the quiz 20 times, most likely you've got Sparrow High.
Yeah, that's some basic stuff. I'm sure you'll cover that during yours. Yeah.
It's interesting how, it's amazing how they flavor all parts of your life, and it really hits you in the face sometimes. In a nice way.
Alors, I'm just resending.
Katie, she's gonna feel so stressed.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just gonna resend her a link, and maybe I can ask you, how did you live your first weeks in the groups? Like, how did you went through that in the course? If you want to
In the
talk about
like
it.
in the first term.
Yeah, because it can be a bit stressing out to arrive in a group where you don't know anyone, and at the
Yeah, we
beginning
should talk
everybody.
about that. That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you could cover that while I tried to make a comeback,
Yeah.
it would
Yeah, sure.
be interesting.
That's actually a really great topic
That's
to
a
talk
really
about.
good. Yeah, absolutely. What it
Yeah.
looks like.
I guess it was easier. I obviously know Nat. We're in the same group, so and I love doing this stuff. And it's over Zoom, but I can appreciate how different personas will maybe get a bit more anxious. Like a dog might find it quite overwhelming to be exposed in such a way, but it's actually really helpful to be in smaller groups. You're not like in a big group and get lost. Everyone gets seen and attended to, and in their own way. And we found that after the first session, people often responded in the child part of whatever their primary persona was. So that's really magic as well. Like everything just happens for exactly how it's meant to be. So um, even if you don't know for sure who you are, you sure as well will react in the way that you're meant to. And I think
Oh yeah, and
um,
I was gonna add to that. Like when you're going through each week, you might think that you're a different persona, but things present to you from the universe to say, "Hang on a minute, just think about this." Like I always thought that I had Lion in my map as number 5. It wasn't Lion at all. It was Sparrow, completely slapping me across the face, which meant that I didn't have any animals at all in my map. But that's what it will do. So the universe really tells you what's happening around you, and I think being in the groups week by week, it allows you that safe space to acknowledge it, because some
Yeah,
people want to hide from certain personas as well. And I think that that's where you are picked up and nurtured in a way with this language. It allows you just to be who you're supposed to be, and really love who you're supposed to be as well. And that was one of the best things about the group, was that you were always acknowledged, always accepted, and celebrated as well. I think that was a really big key to growth in every single person in our group anyway, for sure. And it's been beautiful to watch them grow. And yeah.
yeah,
yeah, you're not pushed to come out, like you're not pushed past your own limits. Like you'll be met where you can come out to. And each time there's sort of opportunities to do so. I think that's also magic. And knowing the personas, you'll never be forced to be someone else that you're not. Like I think that's just such a gift. So it is a very special place to enter. And our groups become our persona family. It's almost like the
yeah,
first test before we then exit into the real world, and then we can start, talking to people, communicating this language, not about animals and birds, but just meeting people where they're at. It helps me at work so much because I can talk to people how they see the world, so that they're truly seen as well. And there's nothing better, as I said before, like being able to be met where you are and truly seen as a person, because otherwise you're just kind of talking about, like, people will just zone out. If you're not talking in their values, what's the point in, you're just getting talked at,
exactly.
not talked with.
That's
And
true.
child just comes in then as well.
Yeah,
Your own child really comes in then. So yeah, and like to acknowledge others who they truly are is it just bridges gaps hugely as well with everyone, whether you're having disagreements or celebrating something. You're always going to acknowledge that other person because you understand a universal language. So it just makes life so much easier.
it's bringing an understanding, like you said. It's a bridge. It's a it's 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 another way of looking at what is going on with someone. instead of just being like this person is wrong, and that's coming from the fact that in your life you have built this wrong. You see what I mean? Like something have happened to you. It's not going through your value, so for you it's automatically wrong. And the persona is just explaining why you think this thing is wrong, and then you can try to understand, have an empathy, and see why it is right for them. And it just really ease up the acceptance of different personality when you do it in a group energy. We like there is we were really scared, I think, when we started to have people triggering each other too much. I mean, I was scared of that because I'm Swan first. I'm always seeing the worst. And at the end, we kind of realized that people come and talk differently from what they would talk normally because they come from the persona. And when they talk about it from a persona point of view, it wasn't that triggering. Like some energy
No.
could be sometimes when you're gonna have, je sais pas, bit of a provocative raven attitude sometimes here and there that could frighten like je veux dire some nightingale dog, but
Yeah.
but it doesn't reach the offensive bit because there is
No.
we bring an understanding of that of why this person could be cutting, what is this energy like that, and
And it's
that have
a safe zone too, and that's going through each week. You also acknowledge each persona for the greatness that they are and how it integrates through your map as well. So you might only see. You might see how your sparrow actually helps your raven, or you might see how your parrot really influences your swan. And I think when that starts happening and those light bulbs are going off for people, that's when the transformation happens, and that's how this language is so magic in how it does transform people, because it really influences every avenue of your life. And I mean, I could talk about it for all day, every day. It's just so easy to do so. But I think that's what doing it. That term one was so important to actually live each persona in the greatness that it can provide to your life. Because if you don't do that, then you don't understand the intricacies of how we actually think, and how
yeah
and that's the difference between, Leanne and I having very, very similar maps, but the difference in where those personas are located, gives her such a dynamic view on things that I view similarly, but again, it's very different. And that to me is just magic, how people's brains and psyche can work that way.
do you
Yeah.
think that's what could have make you want to be a persona mental?
Oh, absolutely. Like I'm Raven. I'm Raven one. I love seeing people transform. It brings me, that just lights me up. To see people see themselves and see their own greatness and uniqueness, like that just makes my purpose on being here even more so, hundredfold better in my life, and why I walk through this earth, definitely. So it's such a gift to be able to see that in people. When they don't see it in themselves, this language allows them to see that, and they will. And when they step into that and they see it, and they just, you see a heaviness go off of someone, or just like we had a huge session last night with our group, and it was just so beautiful to see the person just expand and start glowing, and just so excited for life again. And I thought, that in itself, if that's what this language can give to someone, oh, give it to the world. The world needs it right now in such a
Oh,
huge way.
yes. Yes, please. Getting like
What?
when people see themselves fully, that like last night, perfect example. The light bulb just goes on and everything is aligned, and like the glowingness and the life that just happens, and everything just slots into place. Like being able to gift self-acceptance to someone, not from me, but from their own doing, I think is everything. From my own like self-judgment, self-loathing, if you can rise above that and truly see yourself and recognize your gifts and put them into this community and earth that truly needs them, that's my job done. That brings me so much life. And being a part of last night's call was just spoke it all. I think we can do so much with our own personal unique gifts together as a community. We'll be unstoppable, and the world needs it.
Absolutely. And if you can do that and in 8 weeks, like, can you imagine the amount of people that have been trying to do that for 30 years?
Yeah.
You can do it in 8 weeks, and and that
and we
is
keep going. That's the thing. Next week, the next term is gonna also be like about the connection with the blueprint. So how you grew up and what is the influence on how you grew up. Cathy have sent me a message because her connection is actually really it has deceased, so it's a bit complicated. She just told me that we can put it off together, and she that to say what's term 1 and term 2 teach. So in term 1, every term is 8 weeks. In term 1, we learn to understand our map. We just build a map. Every week we go through every persona. On the 7th week, we talk about the missing animal, how to incorporate and the role of the missing animal, and also the first animal, what is actually kind of pretty important. And in term 2, what we are about to finish next week, we are going through the persona we don't have. So we have started to abort how we triggered by them mostly on the first time, but then we tried to put aspect of them every week. So people that are part of the group know what we're talking about, but we have tried to. The concept is about the moonlight, and I'm not gonna explain too much on that. But it's about putting some positive element of the persona you don't have, so you can have a better empathy about how they live life, but also try to use some of their strength to reinforce your map, basically.
Absolutely, and that's where transformations happen. Absolutely, bringing in the light of your moons, which is all spoken about in book 2. That's where the true magic happens, definitely. But going back to term 1 as well, like you've got to understand that map for the intricacies of it on its own, so that you can bring in those light moons.
Yeah, I forget to say, the moonlight is what we do in part 2 of term 2. The part 1 is the connection with your 1, 4 to 5, 3, 6. What is also so meaningful. I mean, when we went through it, I think we reached so many like the mathematic take form, where when you start like seeing what your core is, what your feminine is, and what your masculine is. And I know who I am. I probably talk Chinese for those that didn't do the group, but what I'm like, it's more complex. This is where we reach a complexity, if I can say.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think Leanne is gone.
Everyone's leaving.
So everybody's dropping. C'est pas grave.
What's going on?
C'est pas grave.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. The internet is just shocking today.
Yeah.
Not sure what's going on, but
I think we covered it up.
absolutely.
If Cathy want to say more, I'm sure she will do a story that will be shared on Facebook.
Absolutely. But definitely, everyone, if you are up, you need the pod. Did you want to say where the podcasts were and the everything? I'm getting messages from Katie.
Yeah, I just received a message also. So Leanne phone died. C'est pas grave. Well, I think we're gonna end this here with the business.
Absolutely.
Do you want to add something?
I was going to say, obviously, if you want to book in, so Tuesdays 7:30, Fridays 10:30.
On WA time, right?
Yeah, WA time. The podcasts and the books, obviously, on the website. And what else do we need to say? Who do we need to contact? Obviously, contact Katie and yourself, Abby, if you want to join those
It's more
groups.
Katie. Katie is managing more that. So send her a message. She will book you in. She will tell you if there is any more space available or. And it worked at treat. Okay, d'accord. Okay, sorry. That's what she said. I think we did well. I think we did well. Voilà. But yeah, get in contact with Katie if you're interested into doing the new groups coming.
Absolutely, and we're excited to meet you all. Whoever wants to join, we're excited to meet you all. It's a beautiful journey. Be a part of it, and yeah, join the community. It's just amazing. Your life will be transformed, definitely.
Well, I think we're going to finish on that.
Abby.
Thank you for being there. Thank you, Leanne.
Abby.
And
thanks, Leanne and Katie.
We see you soon, people.
Yes, Katie will have to do a live very soon, definitely.
Yeah, I think next week. Next week, there's going to be another live. Okay, perfect. Well, that's it.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Take
Bye.
care.